My, oh my, how the tables have turned.
You saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-A-Lago. What did you think to yourself?
How that could possibly happen, how anyone could be that irresponsible. And I thought, what data was in there that may compromise sources and methods? Just totally irresponsible.
There is breaking news tonight from the Justice Department. Attorney General Merrick Garland has assigned Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney John Lausch to review classified documents from President Biden's vice presidential office at the University of Pennsylvania Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement.
Say it ain't so, Joe.
Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth.
A pre-dawn raid by the Department of Justice working in collusion with the other alphabet members of the secret agencies of the United States on Mar-A-Lago, the residence of a former president, one Donald J. Trump. Why? To retrieve stolen, classified documents! Which is completely a misnomer. Understand. No president, I don't care what his ideology, his political affiliation. I don't care whether he's a conservative, a liberal, a libertarian, doesn't matter. No president can ever be dragged before a court and charged with the crime of concealing classified information. Why? Because the president expressly has been given constitutional power and authority to classify or declassify any document he so chooses. If the president wants to classify the doodling that he does in the Oval Office when some head of state is there, boring him to tears, and he just makes repeatedly little circle smiley faces on a notepad while pretending to nod his head in understanding of what this individual is asking of him, he can classify that piece of scrap paper with the doodles on it. If the president wants to classify the menu of the Chinese restaurant that he orders takeout from, he can classify that. He has that type of sweeping, broad power. So no president can ever be accused or charged with stealing classified information. That was not done at Mar-a-Lago because Donald Trump had somehow violated the law and he had nuclear codes, which you do know that as soon as one president exits and another guy puts his hand on the Bible and raises his hand, you do know all those codes change, right? And the thing is this, the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media, which ran wild for days on what it was Donald Trump took, and one of their favorite ones to spin, from has-been Where's the Pence Keith Olbermann to literally everybody at CNN, PMSNBC, and the rest of the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media, was that Donald Trump had taken nuclear codes. Bill Maher even talked about that. Guests on Bill Maher even talked about that. He has the nuclear codes. The nuclear codes change when we change presidents. Duh! This whole thing was about discrediting Donald Trump. They wanted to convene yet another panel because the J6 committee, led by one Adam Schiff for brains, and traitor Liz Cheney, was going nowhere. The American people get it. They really do know what happened on J6. That the president did encourage people to march to the Capitol peacefully and make their voices heard peacefully. That there were agitators in the crowd, some of whom were Trump zealots, others of whom might have been planted there by some of the members of the alphabet intelligence communities. And they were there for the express purpose of stirring things up. Doors were opened to the Capitol by the Capitol Police. People were invited in, and Nancy Botox Pelosi actually had all of the security really downgraded that day. In the express hopes of not hoping something might happen, but knowing full well that the plans were in the works to get things stirred up in the crowd that day to make something happen. And here's the thing, the American people get it. And when Obama, Biden, and Kamala think she's a hottie Harris, and the rest of that ilk on Capitol Hill have their J6 commemorative day where they talk about 5 police officers having been killed, no, not one. There were police officers who later on took their own lives. Some are saying because of the stress and the trauma of what happened on January 6th, or the fact that they were involved in one of the biggest cover-ups of all time, but everything is speculation. We don't know. We do know the one and only person that actually was killed on J6 Day was an unarmed female Trump supporter, who even by the words and the testimony of the officer who shot her, did not actually pose a physical threat. And he, by the way, had a record of discharging his weapon carelessly, yet he kept his job. Why? Because this is what Democrats do. They constantly reward inept behavior. If you got a D by your name, you're okay. So they kick in the doors of Mar-A-Lago. They take out boxes of whatever. They lay it out on the floor. They take pictures of it and they say it's classified. And the media goes nuts because the J6 committee blew up on them. The American people get it. So this was going to be the thing that would disqualify Donald Trump from ever being able to run for president again. And surely this time even the Republicans in Congress will work with them on this. And to his credit, Kevin McCarthy didn't. And the Republicans held the line and said, whoa, and understand for some of them, it's not that they've had a change of heart. Now all of a sudden they're no longer never Trumpers and they're on Team Trump. No, nay. But they do understand, one of these days it is going to be a president we like. It is going to be our guy. And if we set the precedent now of going after a president on this thing, which we've never gone after any president over, we're setting a dangerous precedent for in the future this to happen to a president we really like. So they weren't protecting Donald Trump as much as they are protecting the institution, which in reality, they're protecting his constitutional given authority, that he has the power to declassify. That said, a vice president does not. So what was in those files that they found at Penn Biden? The University of Pennsylvania, where Joe Biden had an honorary professorship, which means he received money for doing nothing. Kind of like he received money for doing nothing. These files were just magically discovered a couple of days before the midterms. Funny that nobody reported on that. And Merrick Garland did actually appoint an investigator now to look into this, and it just turns out to be he's a Trump appointee. Now, a lot in the conservative media are getting really excited. We got Biden now. Just because Trump or Reagan or whoever appoints somebody doesn't mean they're necessarily going to do what you are expecting, especially if they've gotten to him. Wouldn't it play great if a Trump-appointed attorney comes back and says there's no there? Wouldn't Team Biden and the libs and the Democrats love to be able to run with that headline? So I'm not overly excited that we're going to get an outcome here that we think we are. And we have to give Team Biden and the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media, this one did kind of hit them, and they're going to need a couple of seconds to get their spin right, because Biden's not taking any questions on it now after condemning the president. But we'll see, because certainly you got even CNN talking about these were really sensitive documents. Bum, ba-dum, bum. Now, what we can't do is speculate the way the media did about what Donald Trump had or didn't have. But Tucker Carlson pretty much nailed this down.
Once these documents were discovered, this crime was unearthed. There was no possibility Donald Trump could ever again run for office. He needed to go to jail. Every person connected to the Biden administration told us that, including Joe Biden himself. What data was there in there that may compromise sources and methods, Biden asked. So as Biden was saying that, it turns out that he was, and you'll be shocked to hear this, doing exactly the same thing that he accused Donald Trump of doing. Joe Biden was storing classified documents in a private office at a fake think tank that has been set up for him at the University of Pennsylvania. That fake think tank is called the Penn Biden Center for Diplomacy and Global Engagement at the University of Pennsylvania. Now, we should say we don't know exactly what these classified documents are, and unlike Michael Beschloss and the former head of the CIA, we're not going to speculate. But according to CNN, they were very sensitive. Quote, the classified materials included some top secret files with the sensitive compartmented information designation, also known as SCI, which is used for highly sensitive information obtained from intelligence sources. So what exactly were these materials? Were they the nuclear codes? We're probably going to find out pretty soon, because there's no question Merrick Garland will unleash one of his signature pre-dawn raids on the University of Pennsylvania at any moment. Because it's a national security threat. Merrick Garland will get right on that. But actually, Penn may be a national security event. We know you're very impressed your nephew got in, but Penn, as an institution, takes an awful lot of money from the Chinese Communist Party. Not making that up. In recent years, Penn has received more than $50 million from anonymous Chinese donors. So the question is, were those donors peering at the classified documents, the national security secrets that Joe Biden had been stashing at the fake think tank that Penn set up for him? How much access did they have exactly to these documents? We're very much looking forward to the Washington Post expose on that.
Oh, wait. The university that gave Joe Biden an honorary professorship took in about $54 million in donations from Chinese entities. That same university housed these classified top secret documents. Could these donors, for their gift, have been given access to these top secret documents? Could they? I said it before. I'll say it again.
Say it ain't so, Joe. Say it ain't so.
I'll say this. Kevin McCarthy did come out today, and very clearly he defended Donald Trump. Very emphatically, he stated, aha, here we go. The very thing they went after Donald Trump for, they themselves are guilty of. Trump even tweeted out on Truth Social, hey, let's see if the FBI will be kicking in the doors of any of Joe Biden's various homes. Fat chance, right? So as the McCarthy era begins, look up. We've had some wins here, people. It may have been a rough midterm that we didn't get the red wave that we wanted, and that was not Donald Trump's fault, the way the media and the political pundits are trying to spin it. That is strictly on Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell tanked Republicans who were running if he felt they were loyal to Donald Trump. It's no more complicated than that. And make no mistake, it is the rhinos that are really propping up now and pushing Ron DeSantis. Now think about it. If Donald Trump were really as inept as his critics, as the media, as the Democrats say, why are they working so hard to try to take him out? even down to a raid at Mar-a-Lago, retrieving documents that they know full well he has the authority to declassify, to keep creating negative headlines so that you and I will pull away and say, we love Trump's policies, but he's just way too much drama. They're so afraid of him. And he is dangerous, not to you and me or to our republic. He is dangerous to them, their control, and their power. Because he's not one of them. He's the true outsider, the actual patriot who got elected. And they can't have that again. Which makes you wonder why they've picked Ron DeSantis. I'm just asking questions out loud here. So we'll watch this little drama unfold, but hey, let's take a victory lap now. At least we got another scandal out there along with the Hunter laptop. Well, we know how corrupt the Biden crime family is. They're in a league right up there with the Bush crime dynasty. And now we've had some wins even within the House. You know, Kevin McCarthy's there, but it was the Freedom Caucus that they put the screws to him. And that means Adam Schiff is going to get kicked off all his security committees. Bye-bye, Adam. Bye. Bye. You can spend your time hanging out with the hags on The View, whining and complaining that a couple of radical Republicans took me down. Really? I can't think of one Republican that would vote to keep you in anything. Even the rhinos don't like you, Adam Schiff for brains. You're only there because you're George Soros' son-in-law. Well, great way to get the day started. We'll see you later.